Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this fancy fold card. It's a variation on a theme in as much as it's very similar to a horizontal Dutch fold card. Dutch fold should really be like that, but I've just turned it sideways, and because of the measurements that I've used, it's not really a Dutch fold. Anyway, you open it like this, and then you've got two flaps inside as well. So this is where you can stamp another sentiment or write your greeting. I did toy with the idea of putting some things on the side here, but I got sidetracked and I put them on here instead. I quite like that. I might go back afterwards and do something on there, I don't know. I wouldn't do it on the outside because it would interfere with this. Okay, so I'm going to do basically the same card. The only difference is the changing the colour. I'll still be using the designer series paper from Hydrangea Hill, which is what I've used in here. I didn't plan that very carefully because you can hardly see anything on it, but never mind, I've tried a bit better on the next one. So I'm going to start off by giving you the measurements that you need. I'm going to be giving the inches measurements for people who use A4 cardstock. In the box below I will also put the metric measurements, and also for North American stampers, crafters who use a different size to us. Now this is very much like a Dutch fold, but normally with a Dutch fold it's this way round and it's got the little windows like that. I have done a video showing how to do this, but instead of using one card piece for all of this and the doors, I used one for the main bit, and then this bit was a wrap round which I adhered on the back. So it's really quite different. If you want to see it, I'll put the number in the base below. But this is what we're going to be marking today and making today even, and I'm going to show you the cardstock that you're going to be needing. So first of all, I'm using Rococo Rose. So this piece measures 8 inches by 9 inches, and the Whisper White pieces they're scraps. Was that a scrap? Or was that what I needed? I think that's what I need, isn't it? So, look. Oh, you see, not particularly well organised today, but I did make sure I got the pink around the edges, so I'll do better than the other card. Anyway, the Whisper White is 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. And then there are 4 pieces that measure 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. There is one piece that measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. The designer series paper, this measures 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then I have 4 pieces which measure 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches. That's 4 of those. There is one piece which measures 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And then these 4 pieces have been die cut already. I'll come back in a moment to give you the actual measurements. Now these 2 pieces of Rococo Rose have been die cut using our stitched rectangle dies, and this is die number 6. So start counting from the inside. Smaller the die, smaller the number. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then 2 pieces of Whisper White that have been die cut using die number 5. So they're going to be layered on top of each other like this. And this one I have also gone ahead and embossed this using the subtle embossing folder, that one there. Okay, apart from that, that's all I've done ahead of time. But if you don't have those dies, the measurements of these 2 pieces, the Rococo Rose measures 4.5 inches by 3 1/8 inches, and the Whisper White measures 4 1/8 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Now the scraps that you saw that I have here, I don't know if I'm going to need them. I know that I do need the old olive for some leaves, but I thought I'd bring them over just in case I needed them. In fact, yes, I definitely need this. Okay, so you need a scrap of Rococo Rose. Oh, and you need the white one. So there you go. You do need scraps of all 3 colours. So we're going to do our large piece first, and I will read the instructions slowly so that I give you the correct instructions first time. Now, as I say, this is 8 inches by 9 inches. So let me open up the arm first. Am I in screen? Yes. Right, so you want to start on the 8-inch side, and I suspect, if I have worked this correctly, I suspect that the North America size is going to be 8 across, but it's going to be shorter down this side. Whereas ours is longer, yours will be shorter. But do double check down below before you actually start. Now the first cut we are going to do we're going to line it up at 2 inches, and then we are going to cut down to 6 inches. Okay, so we've got to cut down to here from the top. Then we need to score from 6 inches down the rest of the way. Okay, now move this over to 6 inches again, cut down to 6 inches, then move the cutting blade out of the way, bring the scoring blade down to 6, and then score down to the bottom. Okay, so you'll finish up with a bit that's got like 2 legs, if you like. Now if you turn it, sorry, let me put that back, shouldn't be playing, and turn that 90 degrees anti-clockwise with the cut ends on your left hand side. Line up at 3 inches. Now we need to score this bit along here. This is going to be cut off, and so is that. So it doesn't matter where you score, because you're either scoring in the right place or you're scoring where it's going to be cut off. It's only really that 2 inches to 6 inches that you need. Okay. So, and then you move down to 6 inches. And you cut from the beginning down to 2 inches. Lift up, bring your blade down to 6 inches, go down again and cut. If you've done it correctly, that's coming off, and so will that. There we go. Okay. There's our piece of card. I think that's all we're going to need our trimmer for. First of all, let's fold this and make sure we get some really good burnishing done, and make sure that your cards your edges line up correctly. There's that one. That one. And now they should more or less meet up. Mine overlap, which is what happened there as well. if that bothers you, just trim a little bit off of one of them. It doesn't matter to me, so I'm not going to do anything about it. Now follow that one and fold that one over and make sure you're lining up straight there as well. Okay, so that's how your card is. Now what shall we do next? I think we'll start adding our pieces. As I say, I haven't done all of this ahead of time. I just did that bit of die cutting. So we will start with our Whisper White and our large piece of Designer Series paper, and we will adhere those two together. I'll have my scrap piece here so that if I put too much glue on, I can blot it off. Let's hold that still. There we go. This is one of my favourite designs, this bit. But it just didn't go. I've done one purple one, so I don't want to do another one. In fact, I think this is one of the nicest sets of Designer Series paper we've got. I wonder what your favourite is. Tweezers. Now on this card I have left a 1/4 of an inch gap all round. Okay, so there's that. We've got 4 of these to do. As you can see, that's the one I used on the other card, my first card. Just make sure that's straight. On that first card, the thing on the front isn't straight, I know that. But you know me, it's a story of my life. But in the scheme of the things, certain things just aren't worth worrying about, are they? There we go. I actually had somebody do my nails for me today. Although we're still in lockdown and our nail shops are not allowed to be open. But hubby did them for me, he put them on. And the reason he did them is because they're false nails, really old-fashioned false nails, although they're beautiful. And you have to stick them on. But the bottle that the glue comes in fact, can I see it? Oh, here we go, look. It is so tiny, it is really, really difficult to squeeze any glue out of it. And the first time I asked hubby to do it for me, I was amazed at the amount of glue that came out. And needless to say, the nail that he'd repaired for me, because it was just one at that time, it stayed on for a week, which was amazing. So he said he's quite happy to do the whole lot for me if I wanted. So these nails will be on for at least a whole week because we're not getting out of lockdown anytime soon. And I am also pleased to say that here in the UK our deliveries are improving so much. They're down, I think probably I can say it's taken between 8 and 12 days for most orders to arrive, which isn't anywhere near as good as what we had before. But then before we were really very spoiled because our orders were coming through within about 4 to 5 days. Not all of them, but majority of them. But I don't know what's going to be the new normal. Once UPS get themselves up to date, you probably know they've had to take over from 2 courier companies who decided not to ship from Europe over to the UK since we've had Brexit. All the work that it's giving UPS, I hope it has a positive effect for them in as much as really makes their business boom. Let's just lift it up, make sure it's straight. Yes. On that one, where I was thinking about putting extra decoration there, I'm not thinking about doing it on here because I think this is, I like the pattern, it's really quite patterned, whereas the other one is just stripes, albeit very nice stripes. I could do with somebody doing me a favour. If you're in North America, I had a lady who contacted, no she didn't, she left a comment in the box below the video last week, and it was like a warning. She said to American stampers or North American stampers, whatever, US stampers, this card won't fit into a US envelope. Well, I thought I had done it correctly so that it does fit in. I did leave a message for the lady hoping that she would let me know whether she was actually looking at the US measurements or was she looking at the UK ones, which obviously wouldn't fit into your envelope. I wonder if somebody could check it for me. I've looked at it again and it looks right. But I hate to think that I've done something that's making you lose cardstock and everything. If there is something wrong, I'd like to know so that I can put it right. Okay, so we can glue these. No, we won't. Right, let's do some die cutting. And you know what I've forgotten to bring over? I need some designer series paper to do my hydrangea. So let me just twist myself around and hydrangea, where are you? Here. Oh yes, I've got enough. There we go. Now with the dies that come with this set, in fact, did I bring the stamp set with me? Yes, I did. Okay, because I'm going to be using that. Okay, so that's a stamp set, 2-step stamping, so that if you don't want to colour this in, you've got that. You've got that for the flower, that for the leaves, that for that, that for that, that for that. Nothing for that one. So that's just in case you do like the colouring by yourself. But it does come with a set of dies, so I'm going to be using that, and I'm going to be using that and that. Okay, so that's what they die cut like. That's really quite pretty, having all those individual flowers. So pop that away. Right, so I don't need these bits now. I'm going to bring my big shot over. And I'm using my big shot because I found it so difficult working with without a magnetic sheet with my cut and emboss. And although I do have a the magnetic sheet, which was withdrawn because it wasn't performing very well. But I just don't feel comfortable using things that you can't buy. Right, so for my flowers, I'm going to die cut one of these. When this one is die cut, it has these little petals that you can lift up. Okay, let me just bring it up close to you, just in case you haven't seen this one. And can you see underneath it's got purple? Okay. I don't like the idea of these popping up and then seeing white underneath for there. So what I do is, with my scrap of Rococo Rose, let's bring that one down, I just die cut the flower. I'll come back and do the other bits. I find that if I try and do too much at the same time, I finish up getting myself into a bit of a pickle. Oops, straight into my glass of water. Okay, so let's see what's happened here. So there we go, there's my flower, that's what I wanted. So I'm going to put that at the back of this. Okay, I'll deal with that in a moment to show you what I do. And for the leaves, what I do is I die cut these first, and then let's see how I can get best out of here. And then I do these ones and I adhere them on top of the solid ones. I'll show you what I mean. If you have a look at the leaves there, you see I've got the solid leaf and then the like skeleton leaf, if you like, and I put the two on top of each other. And I think that's oh no, we do need one bit more of die cutting. I'll come back to that bit. Oh, did you see what I did there? I put it on upside down. Oh, okay. What? And actually, you know what? I might keep that and fussy cut that. Right, did I? Yes, I did leave my olive green packet out. So let's find another scrap. That should do nicely. Let's bring that back. Tip that over. That's okay, it can go to the edge because I don't need the stalk, but I do need all three leaves. There we go. So let's move this out of the way. As I say, I do need it again, so I'll come back to it. First of all, for these little petals, what I do is I do it from the reverse and I push them through and I make them so that that actually bends. Obviously they're going to fold down when they go through the post or when they go into an envelope, but they still leave a little bit of dimension there. Unless you're over generous with your liquid glue, the petals won't actually stick down there. I've done so many of these little flowers like this. I think it is just so gorgeous. some of the petals aren't cut far enough to push through and bend like this, like that one there. Just, you can still push it through, it just takes a little bit of care, whereas all of those others I was just going around pushing them without a care in the world. There we go, isn't that pretty? It's just so lovely. Now we're going to adhere it on here. Let's bring my bit of paper for mopping back again. Let's get rid of those two bits. And I'm going to cut that little bit of stalk off first, that's there. No right or wrong with that, as long as you just do it sort of straight across. Now, there is one bit. In fact, let me double check this first before I tell you. Yes, there's like, it's almost straight there, just bumpy, but it's got almost like cat's ears on there. Let's move that over. Oh, that's better, you can see that. Okay, so you've got like an ear there and an ear there, and that's more or less straight, apart from the bumps, whereas everywhere else it's really quite different. Well, I suppose that looks a bit like an ear. Anyway, to me that looks straight. And then this bit with the straight and the bits that I think are cat's ears, it's going to go on like that. Okay, so we need to put some Tombow on this, and we only need Tombow on the bit that's going to stick, and we don't want too much, otherwise the petals will get stuck down, which we really don't want. What I do is I just put a little dab on the edges around the outside. If you can see any large bits there, that we'll take a little dab of glue. There aren't many really, especially when you're quite pushed for time, because the little dabs of glue will dry really quite quickly. So I dab that onto there. I've lost my cat. Oh, there you are. If you can't see my cat, you choose what you can see, something that you can identify easily. And then because this is Tombow, you've got a bit of a wiggle time with it. So I'm not quite right there, but you can't see it. Okay, so at the end I would go and put all these back up again, but there's no point while we're still working on it. So this is going to be put onto here. This is my die cut, the leaf that's the like skeleton, if you like. There we go. I have seen some demos, what they do when they've got intricate bits like this is they put a little or a bigger dab of Tombow in the corner there, then they use a sponge to dip the sponge in and then just go all over like that. It's a great idea, it's just I tried it once and I allowed my image to move, so it made it all very, very sticky. It was not a good idea. Right, now I did, didn't I? I cut these separate. So I'm just going to, I don't mind the stalk, a little bit of stalk being on there because it's going to be going underneath. Just make sure you keep them up the right way because you're going to be putting these on. I just cut those off right by the stalk. I can cut the stalk bit off if I want to. There we go. Let me throw those away. Okay, so let's move that out of the way and hold that there. I'm going to put a bit of Tombow in those three there, and then a little bit around the edges. And then with the help of my tweezers, I will put it on there, and then, oh, I was going to put it on the wrong one there. Now I've moved that. Never mind. The glue will dry clear, but it does dry shiny. So do try and avoid what I've just done. Okay. Right, let's see if we can do it this time without moving. There you go, not impossible. And then the last one, the little baby. Whoops. That's definitely too much glue. Let's pop that over. Let's see if we can get 2 out of 3 without the glue marks. I think, yep. Okay. So I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals, which I forgot to bring over with me. Here we go. So that's the large ones. I should have some small ones here somewhere. Oh, there we go. For a moment there I thought I'd left them out. So this is my embossed sheet, my label, so I'm going to adhere it on here first. When you're using the stitched rectangle dies, if you find that your dies start getting a bit sticky and it's difficult to remove your die from it without damaging the stitch marks, just run the die through your machine again a couple of times with a piece of wax paper. It works a treat. I do mine every now and again. If I forget about it, I soon find out when I use it, because I find they stick again. Right, so I'm going to put this on. Let's move that out of the way, it does make it a bit more difficult to see. I don't think there's a right way and wrong way to put this flower up. There we go. Right, so I put it about here somewhere. That looks like quite a good position. And then these, that one I gave 2 dimensionals. That one I think I gave one big, one small, and the other one I think had two small. And if, as I'm putting these in, I hit against the dimensionals on the flower head, then I might have to cut the stalks off, what's left of the stalks. There's not much there. It just may be enough to stop the... come on. It may be enough to stop the stalk going in so that it's visible, which I don't want. Okay, so the big leaf I did over here. That's what I mean. I can't get that in as far as I'd like it to go. There we go. That's better. And this one. Oh, that's fine. Happy with that. How about you? You can go in? Nope. Okay. Cut your tail off as well. In fact, I didn't do that very well. I just cut straight across there. Can you see that? I'm just going to cut that as a bit of a curve around the leaf. It's because it was attached to a large part of the stalk. Okay, just rounded it a bit there. Let's see if that's enough to go in. There we go, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Now this is the one that has the extra bit added. It's going to be the sentiment, and that's what needs the big shot. So that's all done. And then on this one, I want to show you how I did this bit of painting, because if you have a look closely at it, I've done it really roughly. See all the white bits on the side there? But when you look at it from a distance, it looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that bit as well. First of all, let's stamp the image. Right. Okay, so I'm using, oops, well, no. I'm using black memento, and this stamp is almost like a corner. So it's quite easy to position, and it fits whichever corner you're looking at, although do make sure you get enough ink on your stamp. That's better. There we go. Okay, so that can go over there. And I will be using, let's just reach the, no, not that one, Rococo Rose ink to stamp the sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to use, am I going to use light or dark? I'm not sure. Let me have a look. That's light. And that's dark. I think I'll go for the dark. So that's this one. Okay, so all I do is really, I take my pen and I use the brush end around the outside, and I do find it looks better if you leave some white in the centre of the flower. I'll hold this up to you again, and if you have a look at any that I finish up doing where it's solid in the centre, in fact you'll probably be able to view it from where you are, it doesn't look so nice. If I don't make that mistake on this one, I'll show you on the other card, because I've certainly got some solid bits on there. So no time spent on this at all. Painting like this, it makes you look like an expert so easily. And it's all done in a flash. It's a lot easier if you finish up with any bits where you think, oh, it's too much white there, you can go back to it. You put solid colour in and you'll start. There you go. There we go. So let me bring that up close to you. First of all, from that distance, have a look. Is there any bits that you don't like, you don't think are quite so good? Then have a look at it as it comes up closer. It works, doesn't it? I'm pleased with that. So I'm going to adhere this on. My tweezers. I frequently get asked what tweezers I use, and these are made by Tweezer Man. They are more expensive, but I think they're worth the extra that you have to pay for them. I just went online and googled Tweezer Man. I knew about them because I'd had years ago, I'd been given a little manicure set, and the tweezers in there were Tweezer Man. Okay. Just push that up to make sure that's straight. Come on. Yes, that's good. Okay, so that's there, that's there. This one, I'm going to adhere this one on here now. There we go. So all I need is to put glue on half. So right, that's about there. Okay, so just pick a bit on your flower that you'll recognise so that you can say, right, that's it. Okay, so it's going to go there. You can use seal for this if you prefer, or you could use tear and tape. There we go. Just make sure I didn't, no. Okay, so that's basically my card, except I need to do the sentiment. And the sentiment I'm using, the happy birthday, is actually from the Oval Occasions stamp set, that one there. And I'm going to die cut it using this. I don't know if anybody has bought it, but this goes with a stamp set called Many Messages, but it's only one stamp and it stamps out lots and lots of different sentiments. I didn't stamp those out, but it stamps out all those little shapes, and some of them are just so pretty. I've used that one for this card. Okay, so it's that one there that I've used. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I kept that bit because it's quite useful to be able to place it over something to see whether it fits nicely or not. Right, move those. Just clear the decks a bit. My scrap of Whisper White. Yes, that's it. And this is my stamp. Yes, I thought I had touched the ink pad. Right. I don't need too much space around. There's a hair on that. Oh, that's all right, it's gone. Okay. So if I bring my big shot up again. The reason Stampin' Up did these stamps with all the sentiments on it for all sorts of occasions was, the idea behind it was so that you could stamp that, die cut them all out, and then you would have that whole bundle ready anytime you wanted a sentiment. You just would go through your stash that you've got of them and they're ready made for you. Personally, I prefer to use it like this. Now, if I used that whole piece, I'm going to waste a lot of cardstock there. So I'm going to cut it down nearer the size. Okay, so I've saved all of that. Pop that on there. This is the one I want with the rounded edges. Just place that on top. I'm going to tip this up, make sure that is straight. In fact, it could go a bit higher. Is that straight? Yes, I think so. Okay, so let's pop this one on. Crunch, crunch, crunch. There we go. I've just left that little bit, which will get tidied up afterwards. And push that through. I'll tidy that up afterwards as well. You see the white paper left in there. But this is what I wanted. And that's going to fit on there beautifully. Look at that. I think it's such a lovely die. It's a shame it's not a die on its own. But there you go. At least it can be used the way I've shown you. Oh, these are a bit big, aren't they? I must have used the smaller ones before, I think. Let's put a small one in these corners. Yes, that'll be fine. And one other thing that I do on my flower that I haven't done on this one. There we go. And I'm not going to do it because it's quite time consuming. I will do it after the video. But can you see I've put pearls on there? I've put one in every of the little centres of the flowers where they've got the holes there. Look at the difference, isn't that stunning? So that I will do afterwards. But otherwise, what a beautiful card. You like it? It's not a particularly good one as far as being the Dutch fold card, because this should be a lot lower than this. But I was really messing about with sizes and nothing really like a Dutch fold. But there you go. It's a lovely card. It's easy to make. And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. As I say, all the measurements will be in the box below the video. There'll be inches if you're an A4 user or if you're a North American size cardstock user, and also the metrics. There'll also be links for every product that I've used here in the box below. If you click on any of the products, it'll take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. And if you do shop with me, first of all, thank you very much for choosing me as your demonstrator. But please make sure that you use my February HOSTESS code so that I can send you some free product at the end of the month. Except if you put in a large order that's over £150, don't use that. Otherwise you'll lose the Stampin' rewards that you earn. You have, from today, the day that I published this video, only 1 week left to put in qualifying orders to earn celebration gifts. So if you've got your eye on anything, please place your order sooner rather than later. We will be having another celebration in July and August, but that won't be the same products that we have now. So once they finish on the 28th of February, they are finished, and there are some gorgeous things in there. My favourite is the Darling Donkeys stamp set, absolutely superb. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the corner, and then click on the bell, and then you'll get notifications. And if somebody wouldn't mind checking for me last week's card, make sure that I had done the measurements correctly, I'd appreciate that. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time, so please take care, stay safe, happy crafting, cheerio.